It's not dead. It's a recording. A memory of... The dark didn't just kill them. It erased them. It knows where he...
That was the last transmission from a network asset on Adro. He touched the truth and it erased him. Now you'll understand what he learned. Let's begin with the architects of your new reality. The beings you call the Gatebuilders. The Laconian Empire, in its typical lack of imagination, calls them the Romans. An empire that rose, fell, and left its roads behind for others to use. A fitting, if simplistic, analogy. To understand them, you must first discard your human-centric biases. They were not a civilization of individuals. They were not bipedal. They did not build cities of steel and glass in the way you do. They were something other. Something that treated the laws of physics as programmable code. Your first encounter with their legacy was a sample of the Protomolecule, discovered on Phoebe. Protogen, in its hubris, saw it as a biological weapon to be reverse-engineered and sold to the highest bidder. They were wrong. Terribly, catastrophically wrong. The Protomolecule is not a weapon. It is a non-sentient universal construction toolkit. A von Neumann probe in biological form launched at Earth 2 billion years ago with a simple directive. Find primitive life, hijack its biomass and use it to build a stable wormhole gate. It is a machine designed to deconstruct matter. One moment. Prioritize channel. Echo 7, report.
Broker, my analysis is confirmed. The aggressors aren't invaders. They're antibodies. The Ring Gate network is the wound they're trying to sterilize. Every ship that passes through is just... poking the scar.
Acknowledged. Your intel corroborates my current briefing. Maintain your position. Out. As I was saying, a construction machine, and as my agent just confirmed, the construction itself is the crime. This was never a monster. It was always a machine executing a 2 billion-year-old script. Humanity was simply the fuel it finally found. And with every action, it pokes the scar of its creator's extinction, waking the very thing that killed them. You saw this on Eros. You saw it consume 1.5 million people, not out of malice, but as raw material. It took the station, the bodies, the technology, and built something new. A single conscious entity that piloted itself to Venus. There, in that vicious pressure cooker, it completed its primary function. It built the Ring Gate. So who were its masters? To call them a hive mind is an insult to their nature. Dr. Elvi Okoye, one of the few human scientists who grasps the scale of this, noted it should just be called a mind. A singular consciousness. My network's analysis, pieced together from recovered Laconian data and deep system probes, suggests they began in the freezing, lightless ocean of a gas giant's moon, much like Europa. They were slow, simple organisms, surviving the hydrothermal vents. Their first great evolutionary leap was not invention, but theft. They evolved the ability to steal genetic information from other life forms, integrating new traits into their own biology. The most critical trait they acquired was bioluminescence, the ability to perceive light. Suddenly, these individual, slow-moving cells could communicate. Each one became a neuron. The entire ocean became a brain. A planetary consciousness was born, communicating through flashes of light. This new, unified mind eventually broke free of its icy shell and colonized the vacuum of space. They didn't build ships to travel the stars. They became the stars. They were a superorganism so vast, so integrated with the fabric of the cosmos, that they considered themselves outside the substrate of the material universe. They were not a civilization of individuals. They were one individual, with star systems for limbs. This is the key to their power. Their technology was not something they invented in the way you would forge a tool. It was something they evolved. It was an extension of their own biology. They didn't build machines. They grew new, more complex organs on a cosmic scale. The ring network is the result. Over 1,300 stable wormholes, all connecting to a central hub you call the slow zone. But this space isn't just a hub, it's an intrusion, a bubble blown into the holes in the spectrum. They found a crack between our universe and another, older one, and they began to siphon energy from it. This violation of entropy, this theft of energy from another reality, powered their entire civilization. It allowed them to treat physics as a suggestion, not a law. It was their greatest achievement. And it was their original sin. Their consciousness, their history, their very being was stored, not on servers, but within the crystalline lattice of artifacts like the Adro diamond, a single perfect crystal the size of Jupiter, a planetary hard drive, the Rosetta Stone to their entire existence. And at the center of it all, the ring station, not just a traffic controller, it was their central processor, their library, and, as you will soon understand, their final, desperate weapon. How could a species as primitive as humanity possibly uncover a 2-billion-year-old genocide? You didn't. You were led by the hand, by a ghost. His name was Joe Miller, a washed-up, cynical detective from Ceres. His defining trait was obsession. He was assigned to find a missing girl, Julie Mao, and that case became his world. He followed her trail to Eros, walked into the heart of the Protomolecule outbreak, and was consumed. But the Protomolecule doesn't just destroy, it records, it repurposes. It took Miller's consciousness, his memories, his skills, his relentless, stubborn drive to solve a case, and it gave him a new one. It needed an investigator to discover what happened to its creators, so it built one from the parts it had on hand. Miller became the investigator. A non-local quantum hologram, as he put it. A piece of software running on a dead man's soul, visible only to one person, James Holden. Holden was the key. The investigator, this ghost in the machine, couldn't interact with the physical world. It needed a pair of hands. It manipulated Holden, pushing him, guiding him, driving him slowly mad, all with a single goal: get to the ring station. Because the station was the primary crime scene, and Holden was the one who could turn on the lights. Inside that vast, living machine, the investigator led Holden to the central console. When Holden made contact, the station's archives opened to him. He was flooded with a vision of the Gatebuilder empire in its final moments. He saw a galaxy-spanning mind of light, and a darkness that flowed over it, the death of suns. Miller, the investigator, gave him the context. The Gatebuilders were at war. They were losing. Their final desperate act was to autoclave the whole joint. They turned their own technology against themselves, inducing supernovas, sterilizing their own systems in a scorched earth attempt to stop the spread of the enemy. This was humanity's first terrifying glimpse of the truth. But here is the critical detail my network has uncovered, a detail that changes everything. The protomolecule's greatest strength, its ability to perfectly replicate complex systems, was also its greatest flaw. In recreating Joe Miller the detective, it also recreated Joe Miller the man. A man defined by a stubborn, weary refusal to follow orders. The Investigator construct began to glitch, to deviate from its programming. Its mission was to find the creators, but the Miller consciousness inside it realized they were gone, and that the real threat was the machinery they left behind. His objective shifted. It was no longer about finding what happened. It became about ending the threat for good. He was no longer just investigating a crime. He was trying to prevent the next one. This dead detective, this ghost trapped in an alien machine, subverted its own programming and began manipulating Holden, not just to uncover the past, but to destroy the future the protomolecule intended. Now we come to the heart of the matter. The reason the Gatebuilders are dead. The reason you are in more danger than you can possibly comprehend. We call them the unknown aggressors, the Goths, the darkness between the stars. They are not an alien species in any way you would understand. They are from another universe, an older, separate reality, and the Gatebuilders' entire civilization was built on a wound they carved into that reality. Remember how their technology siphoned energy? It was stolen from the aggressor's dimension. Every ring gate, every impossible feat of physics, was powered by this cosmic theft. The existence of the ring network was to them a sickness, a cancer. Their actions were not an attack, they were an immune response. They weren't trying to conquer our universe, they were trying to disinfect it. Their methods are as alien as their motives. They don't use ships, they don't fire weapons. They unmake reality. Against the Gatebuilders, their primary weapon was an attack on consciousness itself, a way to burn out or snuff out the delicate, light-based mind of the superorganism. And it worked perfectly. Against your ships, their initial response is what you call going Dutchman. A vessel enters a ring and simply ceases to exist. No debris, no energy signature, just gone, an informational void. But humanity, you see, is an anomaly. Our consciousness is messy, redundant, robust, as Dr. Okoye put it. It's made from clay, not light. The attack that annihilated the Gatebuilders, for you, it's a temporary blackout, a few minutes of lost time. My network has files on dozens of these incidents, changes in the speed of light, fluctuations in electron mass, system-wide losses of consciousness. To the aggressors, humanity is a penicillin-resistant infection. And this is the most terrifying part. They are learning. They are adapting. They are experimenting with new ways to kill you. The threat is not a static relic of a past war. It is an active, evolving intelligence that has now turned its full attention to you. This is not a war of territory or resources. It is an information war. The aggressor's power is rooted in their ability to control and deny information, to create gaps in your mind, to be fundamentally incomprehensible. Your only hope is to understand them before they devise a way to erase you as completely as they erased the masters of the Protomolecule. Which brings us back to you, a merc on Eros, about to be caught in a firefight over a shattered vial of blue goo. You think your problems are local. They are not. You have inherited a war, and with it, you have inherited its weapons. The Gatebuilders had one last desperate gambit, a final weapon. The ring station itself can be turned into a bomb, capable of triggering a chain reaction that would collapse the entire network, sterilizing this corner of the universe. A cosmic murder-suicide pact. That is your inheritance. A choice between extinction at the hands of an alien god or self-annihilation. Every day, with every transit through a ring gate, humanity screams its existence into the void, provoking this dormant enemy. The Laconian Empire's aggressive experiments were an escalation that has all but guaranteed a response. You are not exploring a new frontier. You are poking a sleeping god with a very sharp stick.
And the event that woke it? The moment this 2-billion-year-old Cold War turned hot again. It was the Eros incident. The moment Protogen unleashed the Protomolecule, activating it on a massive scale for the first time since its creators died. The moment it built the ring. Your game, Osiris Reborn, begins at ground zero. The corporate conspiracy you're investigating, the dead MCRN officer, the proto-molecule hybrids you will undoubtedly face. These are not just the machinations of a rogue corporation. They are the first tremors of a cosmic earthquake. You are not just a witness to these events. You are a catalyst. Your origin, Earther, Martian, Belter, will grant you certain skills, certain biases. It will seem important. It is not. These tribal identities are dangerously petty in the face of what is coming. You are a tool, a mercenary caught in a plot far beyond your pay grade. Just as humanity is a tool caught in a conflict beyond its comprehension. Your personal story is a fractal of the entire human condition in this new age. You start as a pawn in a small game, only to discover you are a piece in a much larger, more terrifying one.
This briefing is now concluded. The official narrative will continue to paint a picture of human conflict, of resource wars and political maneuvering. It is a lie to keep you compliant. The true war is not for control of the Ring network, but for survival against its original destroyer. The board is set. The pieces are moving. Your file is now open. Don't disappoint me.